everyone. This is Rochelle Salvador with a continuation of my Creating Innovative Uses of Technology individual project for EDU 709. Now, for lesson 2, I'm using PhotoStory as a final project for the student's food poem. The rationale in using PhotoStory is the ability to incorporate cross-subject teaching. So I'm able to incorporate language arts, my poetry unit, my nutrition unit, as well as technological skills for this project. I want the students to use PhotoStory as a different format to publish their creative writing. In class, they're so used to just printing out their creative writing and then drawing a picture for it, or typing it up on the computer and drawing a picture for it. So this is something new and interesting for them, and hopefully even more motivating for them, especially for those that are struggling with their creative writing skills. Students will be able to create a video with the use of their own text and images, which they'll be able to showcase in their student-led conferences. Now, the resources needed, as you may notice, are very similar to my first project with Comic Life. The only difference is the digital story program being used and the necessary worksheets. So again, the students need computers, access to computers. They need the Forest Story program, which is available on all the computers at our school already. But I provided this link, which will direct you to the Microsoft website where you can download PhotoStory for free onto your computers, which is a great asset since students will be able to use the program at home if they want to work ahead on their project or if they're falling behind. So all they really need is just permission from the parents to download the program, and off they go. They'll need, again, digital cameras, a USB flash drive, and a storyboard template. Now, the skills and knowledge required from teachers. The teachers need to teach the students the importance of a storyboard, how to set one up, and how to use it properly. Teachers need to be aware of the format of the important poem and other poetry formats. Teachers should be familiar with the PhotoStory program before allowing their students to use it. They need to teach the students how to use the program, as well as teach students how to use a digital camera and how to upload their pictures into a USB flash drive. And they need to teach the students how to use a flash drive and upload those needed pictures into the PhotoStory program. Skills and knowledge required from students. First, students should be aware of the important poem format, which is based on the Margaret Wise Brown's book, The Important Book. And they should also know other poetry formats that they previously learned in the classroom, since they have a choice of which one they want to use. Students should be able to create a storyboard. So again, they should know how to use it properly, be able to break down their poems and place it onto the storyboard in order. Students should be able to use the PhotoStory software. So to teach that, I would, again, which would be similar to from the previous lesson of how to teach my students the skills, I would project the program for the whole class and allow students to follow along on their own computers as I teach the necessary knowledge to operate PhotoStory. Again, so it allows them to ask necessary questions on the spot and being able to provide an answer for them instantly. I would then allow the students to experiment with a program using photos that they've already used during their Comic Life project. So for D&E, students should know how to use a digital camera, and again, they should know how to upload pictures onto their USB flash drive and into PhotoStory program. Since these skills have already been taught during the first project, all I really need to do is review the necessary skills with my students and see if they need, if I need to go over certain skills again. The description of the lesson plan. The students are to create a food poem, either using the important poem template or any other poetry format that they feel most comfortable with. They will break their poem down to fit into a storyboard, including a rough drawing of the images that they plan to use and the text. They will then find necessary images to support the poem. So here they have choices. They have a choice of using online images, off Word, whether they want to take still photos to support their poem, or if they want to draw pictures and then take a digital photo of their illustration. Once the images are collected, they are then to save them into their flash drives. And after that, once their everything's all collected, they'll be able to use PhotoStory to create their poetry video. Advantages. Students will be integrating health, language arts, art, and technology skills into their project. Learning is not limited to just the school. Students will be able to work on their projects at home since PhotoStory is a free software. Students are able to extend their paper assignment into a digital project, which is very exciting for them since it's grade 3 is when they start using more technological tools. Students are able to use different forms of technology for the final project, such as USB drives, digital cameras, for digital story programs, and students have creative freedom. They're able to use any particular poetry template or choose whichever poetry format they enjoy the most. They also have creative freedom when choosing how their images are going to be represented using clip art, live models, or um, photographing their illustrations. Disadvantages. Some students might not have the luxury of working on this project if they do not have access to a computer. So for example, at home, so some students may get ahead of themselves than other students since they'll be able to work on it at the comfort of their own home. B, it can be time consuming if you're struggling to find computer lab time in the school. Projects can take a while to complete if students are struggling with the technological skills, such as using the digital camera and photo story. However, I find this probably a little bit less difficult since they've already had a bit more experience from the previous project. And C, a lot of pre-teaching to various technological tools can also be time consuming. But again, as I mentioned earlier, since they have used similar tools from the Comic Life project to this project, that really you're just reviewing what they've gone through beforehand. Effective instructional strategies. There is modeling, as I mentioned before. I love projecting the lesson on the board for the students, and they work alongside with me as I'm going through it, so they are able to see how to work the program properly, and if they have necessary questions, they can ask it and get an instant answer for their questions. Creativity. Students are again allowed to decide on their final end product and how it will look like. So it's not a cookie cutter project, as I mentioned from the previous project as well. They have their own creativity involved in this one. Um, And you have the cross-subject teaching, so students will be using knowledge from a number of different subject areas to support this project. Possibilities. Photo story can be used across all subject areas depending on how the teacher wants his or her students to use it. Since photo story and comic life are very similar when it comes to teaching students technological skills, it will be less time consuming when teaching necessary skills before even starting the project. The program can be used across many grade levels and can be used as an individual or group project. Now, what I love so much about the digital story programs, both Comic Life and Photo Story, is that it's a motivator for those struggling with writing. I find many students shutting down when it comes to the creative writing because they just struggle so much in trying to get ideas, or they are developmentally slower than some students, so their writing skills aren't as strong or their spelling skills aren't strong, um, which causes their motivation to decrease. So sometimes using these programs gives them a different format. They're not just using their writing skills, they're able to use photography skills, their art skills as well. Um, the programs can be used at all different levels. So you have a grade 3 classroom with different development levels. It doesn't matter. Um, you're not segregating the kids. They have a choice on how to use a program to their best ability and to their strength level. So I hope you enjoyed my projects, and I hope that I was able to motivate all of you and maybe using these programs in your own classroom. Thank you so much.